Heyo, we are
Yo.
back, baby. And as per usual, boys, as per usual, we had like 15 different signings right as we hung up last week. And now we're here to recap them for you. There was a few signings and a few, couple new signings. So with all that being said, Nick, it really looks like you're wearing a Browns sweater right now or sweatshirt, but it's a Reese Senior Bowl. So is that from this year or last year?
It's from this year. I got
Ooh,
so
nice.
sunburnt, right? Dude, I'm the whitest person there is. And anytime I go anywhere in December or January, I get burnt to a fucking crisp. And like, it was so bad after the first day of practice that I went to the second day and I was like legitimately like feeling sick, like felt like I had like sun poisoning. I was just dead to the world. So on this 80-degree day, I went out and bought this really big hoodie so I could just like guard my face and my body from all the sun. I sat there and watched day 2 practice like this the whole time. It was fun, but it was miserable at the same point. So this is from this year, Reese Senior Bowl. It's a really cool sweater, actually. Draft starts in Mobile. You got the melting football, which is what I felt like I was melting out when I bought it. So it was perfect. So about it. Very orange, though. Very loud shirt. My wife doesn't like when I wear it.
Julius, I got a question for you. We just saw a recent signing, Mike Williams to the Jets. Do you think Aaron Rodgers needs any more help, or like, man, Jared Goff would never need another elite wide receiver. Jared Goff has enough. So do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to add another piece to this insane squad he's got going?
Bro, I think I saw just this morning. I read at least 2 mocks that had Marvin Harrison going to the Jets, or them trading up to get him to help Aaron Rodgers win the Super Bowl next season. So I wouldn't be surprised. They're desperate.
It would be wild. But enough Aaron Rodgers talk. No one wants to hear that. Everyone's probably started leaving on us. But let's talk about the biggest and best signing. Yes, the literal biggest. We re-signed Dan Skipper, friend of the show, was awesome to see him literally moments after I clicked end podcast. It was like Dan Skipper re-signed. So I know Brad Holmes was watching, but shout out to him if he was. But Dan Skipper is back. That's some awesome depth. I really think his role has just been improving step by step. He's obviously not going to be a starter due to our most recent signing, which we'll get to. But Skip has definitely made a name for himself to be that kind of like 6th man on the offensive line. So Julius, do you kind of agree that Skipper is kind of our sixth man on the offensive line?
I mean, he kind of seems like it. He's definitely been in that fighting for that role for the last few years. I mean, we've seen him get cut from the team, re-signed, fight through injuries, play for starters when they were out getting injured. I mean, he was like in the middle of the whole Dallas Cowboys scandal that really took us from the number 1 seed and caused us not to win the Super Bowl. I friend of the show, Dan Skipper. I'm so glad he got re-signed. Congratulations. I hope we get him back on one day. But most of all, I hope that he reclaims glory and revenge against the Cowboys next season.
Now, Nick, you seem like the type of guy that went like when you saw that notification, you probably did the old big skip. Is that you, or are you just like, all right?
No, dude, that's a big skip for sure, dude. I was all into it. That obviously because he's a friend of the show. We got to sit down and talk with him. You don't realize how big of a human being he is until you get him like sitting on a couch on a podcast. And he just sits down and is taller than all of us combined. Like, it's nuts. So I'm very happy. I love that how you worded that question to Julius of, is he the 6th man of our offensive line? Because that's a great way to put it. He is, and every team, we all know from the Pistons going to work, the Pistons bad boys. We've had extremely talented 6 men that are vital to your team's success, because in every sport, injuries are inevitable. So to have someone like Dan Skipper that can like plug into left guard if need be, or plug into right tackle if need be, or plug in wherever, kind of outside of center, but like to plug in anywhere, he can plug into backup tight end if we need him to. So
we saw that highlight tape of him going crazy on Madden. Did you guys see that?
I love the Lions for doing that.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Whoever runs the Lions account does a very good job. They post some good content over there. Mm-hmm. But Lions did have a couple other small re-signings. One medium size we'll get to, but the 2 small ones, Scott Scott Daly, another friend of the show, and Khalil Dorsey, which was a little surprising to me. Hopefully he doesn't take out any other tight end knees. Shane Gilstrom, knock on wood. But ultimately, Dorsey is a solid special teamer. I think that's where he'll stay. Maybe we kept him for a deep depth piece on, the DBs, but those two guys kind of small. The one I kind of want to get to is we re-signed Donovan Peoples-Jones, and that comes before we even had any type of negotiations, any talks with Josh Reynolds. So, Julius, do you think this is the last we've seen Josh Reynolds? Were those last, kind of two missed catches, or do you think we'll bring him back in some way possible?
I think the longer we get into the offseason, if we get past the draft to get into the summer, it's very much possible if he's not signed by another team that the Lions bring him back cheaper than what he would have maybe wanted to go for. Maybe he's negotiating his numbers. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. We all know that full and well. Did those catches seal his fate? I don't think so. I don't think something that trivial from one game would cause the Lions management or the coaching staff, Dan Campbell, to lose that much faith in him to just not even consider re-signing him. I don't believe that. It's possible he comes back. It's possible he doesn't. It's possible he goes somewhere else. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, I'm in exactly with what Julius said. I do not think the San Francisco game has anything to do. Honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with the decision to or to not bring him back. I think what the biggest factor is right now is he has proved himself as a very talented and good wide receiver in the NFL, which are hard to come by, especially veterans that can adjust to missed throws and things of that nature. So I think he is holding out himself. I bet the Lions have already extended something, in my opinion, that we just don't know of. And I could be wrong on that. I'm just throwing out a guess. But his agent just was like, no, I think we can make more money. We've proven ourselves over the last 3 years how vital we can be as a wide receiver 2, not just a wide receiver 3 or 4 or something like that. Like I can be a wide receiver. He can be a wide receiver 2. So I think that he is, like Julia said, trying to get his money, which again, yeah, we all understand. But if it does go through and it's April 30th, April 31st, May 1st, and he is not on a team and the draft is over, I bet we do bring him back, because by then I feel like he will have exhausted all options to go to any other NFL teams, and the Lions will be there ready to take him back, but telling him that you are probably not going to have a wide receiver 2 role at this point. J-Mo is going to be a lot more involved. We are probably going to do what I've said over the last few months, is that we are going to get a wide receiver early in this draft, especially with the signing of Zeitler. I think that a wide receiver or an edge is where we're probably going to be going with our first 2 picks. It was inside offensive line and wide receiver, but that's gone now. So give me a wide receiver or edge in our first 2 picks. But if we don't end up getting one, I don't see there being a way that Josh Reynolds doesn't come back to us if he's not signed by the time draft comes around.
See, part of me thinks that I kind of agree with you, Nick, on the negotiation end, where it's like Josh Reynolds might be trying to get a little more than what the Lions are offering. But I think Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, whoever, likely one of those two, realizes that, yeah, Josh Reynolds is Jared Goff's go-to guy, but how much are we going to need him with Sam Laporta, with Gibbs taking the next step, if we're going to take a wide receiver, J-Mo finally getting more worked into the offense. So I feel like his role will be going down quite a bit. We also brought back Donovan Peoples-Jones for only $2 million. It was a real cheap contract, which I love, but I don't know. It kind of tells me that I feel like we're going to see a 1-year, $2 million deal, something, or maybe 3, because, Reynolds has been here a little longer, but it's going to be something very minimal. And I do think that it's going to come right around post-draft time, where either he signs somewhere else, and if that doesn't happen, I think he's coming back with us. So
I think I read that he was trying to get $8 million a year.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think the Lions are way lower than that. They went out and got DPJ, and then if they get a wide receiver, that'll be like, hey, it's either you don't play at all or you come back and play.
Breaking up, Adam.
Oh, he's gone. We lost Adam, the host. What do we do without a host, Julius? Oh, God.
Go to the comments.
Go to the comments. Go to the comments. Quick. There's like 2 comments. Everyone, start posting some questions in here. We're losing.
Any questions you got, throw them our way. It's time, baby.
I'm gonna take Adam out of here because he's gone. All right. So we were talking about Josh Reynolds, and I do think what he said is right in the sense that we saw his role with the Lions diminish when JMO started to get more touches and Laporta truly became the Adam's back.
Hey,
Are you here? Are you alive?
Yeah, I Wi-Fi. As you guys can see, I'm not in the old office spot. I'm in a bedroom, so be it.
I was just saying that Josh Reynolds' role really did diminish last year. We saw that, like you were saying, and we are to only expect more Laporta, more JMO, and more Amon-Ra, or if not the exact same amount of Amon-Ra moving forward. So I think you're right in the sense where Reynolds, even if he does come back, and like I was saying, he's not wide receiver 2 anymore. He will be coming back as like a wide receiver 4 or 5. But personally, I would rather have Reynolds on a 1-year $6 million deal than I would have DPJ on a 1-year $2 million deal. Honestly, DPJ just doesn't move my needle one bit.
He catches. I mean, he doesn't play or doesn't get a lot of play time, but I swear, man, he catches everything. He like any throw, it's just right into his hands. And he
talking about DPJ.
Yeah, man. I know you've seen it, Julius. Even on the
Yeah,
Browns,
but with the emergence of Laporta and Gibbs, there's too many mouths to feed to justify a certain price for any receiver.
That's true.
DPJ signing might be the nail in the coffin for Josh Reynolds. It might be.
It might be. Unless it's May and the dude isn't on a team.
True.
And
the Lions didn't draft 3 receivers.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, well, he's fighting Antoine Green for the wide receiver 5 spot. And maybe he doesn't want that, but if it's May and you haven't been signed by a team, no team's gonna be like, yeah, all right, come on and be our wide receiver 2 or 3. You know, it's just ain't gonna happen, in my opinion. So you know what would be crazy though is if Josh Reynolds signs with the San Francisco 49ers.
That would be crazy.
That would be kind of smart for him, in my opinion. You could get into a wide receiver 3-4 role, maybe behind Juwan Jennings or right with him. And you know you're on a successful team. That'd be smart by San Francisco, in my opinion. So I don't know. Just talking
about Lions joining the 49ers. Chase Lucas, he joined the 49ers. They picked him up, signed him. So one of the most, I mean, we saw Hard Knocks. We saw how upbeat, how positive, how much love he brought to the team. How awkward, how just like his mentality must have just had to flip. Like, this is a business perspective. I'm doing a job. I'm going to a different job. And I feel like he feels so out of water playing for the 49ers there. So any thoughts?
It is awkward. I mean, Chase Lucas just didn't get the opportunities with us. He was behind. I mean, motherfucker couldn't even start over, Kindle Vildor, who like we got halfway through the season, who was bounced around 5 teams. The Aaron Glenn or whomever didn't have a ton of confidence in Chase Lucas. So he's going to a team, San Francisco. I think that one of their weakest positions is cornerback. You'll probably see them address it in the draft. And they went and took a chance on Chase Lucas, who has one of my favorite clips of all time. We got Garofolo to retweet it. It's some dude didn't catch the ball on the opposing team. And he goes, "Hey, Ford, catch the fucking ball." It's like one of the greatest clips I ever heard. I had to record it real quick. So I love Chase.
I don't know. Anyways, he was a good guy. We will see him again, ironically, play the 49ers. So I kind of don't hope that he's starting. I hope, it'd be cool little storylines playing. But if he's starting, that will tell me that was a little missed by the Lions staff. And although they are going to happen, Lions aren't perfect. The first couple are gonna suck and catch us off guard.
They'll sting for sure.
But another guy joining enemies-ish. I don't know. The Eagles and Philly fans, they kind of just all suck, are enemies to everyone. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Julius, are you a fan of this? Were you hoping that we would get him back, or are you just like, sayonara, dude, bye-bye?
I'm fine with the exit. I mean, the 1 year he was here, he didn't play much. He didn't do much. I mean, he did a little bit he played, but he didn't make that big of a difference. And he was more of a distraction that what really wasn't needed with the production he wasn't giving. So I'm cool with it. Best of luck to CD Deuce. He brought a lot of energy, a lot of fun. Ski Mask was kind of fun for like a couple weeks. Shout out CD Deuce. Shout out Icky Melifonwu, who single-handedly could have been a guy, and Brian Branch too, who made him very much disposable.
It's funny because last week we were talking about guys we wanted to resign, and I like purposely left them off my list, and I was like, I don't care about Chauncey. I don't care.
That's why I asked Julius.
I know, but
Did you ask me? Did you ask me about it?
I'm wired to be such a devil's advocate that I hear Julius say that, and I think, well, we don't know now. And honestly, like, let's think about this a little bit. Would have Brian Branch maybe been as successful if Gardner Johnson wasn't in our locker room? Wasn't like, not even because he wasn't on the practice field, but like, they're picking each other's brains in that DB room, right? And he is a veteran who is one of the most highly touted defensive backs last year in free agency, led the league in picks 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was. Like, the dude's not bad. He speaks his mind, and I think that's good to have someone that speaks their mind and doesn't take no bullshit from any of the media that wants to try to be this SOL media and drag you down, because that's what media does. It's what gets clicks. You know what I mean? And he just was sitting there like, yo, fuck off. Like, I do and say what I want. And though it did, obviously what happened is he got injured for the entire season. So all of us are like, bah, we didn't need him then. We don't need him now. And it's like, well, we don't know what was going on in those locker rooms and DB rooms and scouting days and all this stuff, where maybe he did have something to say. And it sucks that basically his last thing with us was him waving to San Francisco and then us just like rotting in the second half. Like, that stinks. But he had a huge pick on Baker in the first drive in Tampa Bay. And sure, it was a tip pick, but whatever, dude. The guy got a pick. He has a nose for the ball. Like, he can get around. So, yes, I didn't want to pay that much money. No, I don't think we needed him. But losing him could play dividends into the sense of the locker room that we don't know about. And I would love to have. I should have asked Kendall Vildor. I really should have. Just what his presence was like in the locker room. Was he quiet and solo and isolated and tried not to give secrets to players, or was he very vocal like he is on the media, which this is kind of how I think he was, where he was always talking, always yapping, always chattering, which could help out an Iffy and a Brian Branch. And sure, now it's time for them to take the next step without him, but we just don't know that. And so it's easy for us to sit here and be like, motherfucker played 4 games, had 1 interception, a couple bad penalties. Yeah, dude, he's a bum. Get him out of here. That's easy to say, but we don't really know. And that's what's hard to do these kind of podcasts and talk about teams from an outside perspective, because you're just deciding in your own head. You're making things up basically, and then trying to put that in front of people and have them believe what you're saying. But we don't really know. So we'll see. We'll see the impact of losing him next year. And if our secondary is great and Amik Robertson comes in and Carlton Davis comes in and they're great and we're doing the Carlton all year long and we forget all about CJGJ, then great. Yeah, ultimately we can come back to this episode right now and be like, yeah, it was all right that we lost him. But we just don't know that. And that's my devil's advocate side, because last week I would have never said anything like this. But
yeah, it's quite funny hearing you talk like kind of pro Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, because Nick last week, yes, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, I don't know. But yes, one of our bigger haters on CJGJ. But moving on, although our secondary might have been beaten up a bit, we might see the loss of him. But what we will see is the gain of DJ Reader, baby. We brought in some beef. Him and Liam McNeil next to each other are like got to be the biggest duo on the NFL field, whatever, on the planet, honestly. But love Soul and Nick right there.
Gosh. I love it.
DJ Reader, I think, is not just going to bring like a whole new run-stopping presence to the Lions. I think he's going to make Aleem grow. And we've already seen Aleem grow. And that makes me think these two I don't know. Nick, what are we looking like? DJ Reader, what were some of your first thoughts? What are you thinking now?
You know, it's a great signing. I'm very excited for it. As a Lions fan, I have a kind of like who was the big defensive tackle we got from the Ravens a while ago when our team sucked?
Max Harrison.
Was it
Max Harrison?
And we were all.
He was from the Giants. Are you talking about the
I thought it was like a white guy or
Danny Shelton or
Hawaiian dude. I can't remember.
He was a Samoan. Yeah. He was an Islander.
Haloti
Nada from the Ravens.
I hope this isn't like Haloti Nada.
That's what I'm good for us.
Haloti Nada was good for the Lions for that first year, though. I think he made the Pro Bowl. I think he was decent. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Maybe I'm just remembering his second year and him just not staying healthy, which is what I immediately thought when I thought of DJ Reader coming here. It's a great big signing to a veteran who's a big dude. Big dudes that are older have a more tendency to get injured. So I'm praying for his health. That's for damn sure. But ultimately, we can't base any thoughts and stuff on injuries. We just assume he plays the whole year. And if he does, this is a great signing. This is what we needed. I had been mocking Tavondre Sweat from Texas, inside defense lineman to us for quite a while. And this is just what I wanted. I want someone. This is a win now fucking mode for the Lions. And it should be that way for the next decade. But we don't know how long that window going to be. And according to Mike Greenberg, it's already closed. So let's just go win right now, which is what we're doing with Zeitler and DJ Reader. So I'm very excited for both of these guys. But Reader especially, our defensive line lacked a lot this year. Our entire defense did, but our cornerbacks are set on our defensive line getting a ton of pressure and QB hits. And Aleem was doing that. He got injured for a minute and we had to fill the role. And it was during our very bad stretch. It shows you how important it is for us to have a big guy in the middle to hold the run, to get to the quarterback. Hutch will do his thing. And we hope Davenport will too now on the other side. But to have Slim and frickin' Reader, this could be, I don't know. I tweeted out, I said, is it okay to have the best offense and the best defense in the entire NFL? Because there's a good chance. I know if I call them, but there's a good you jinxed it, is what they were telling me. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. This is a hilarious tweet. Calm down. If there's a chance that Reader comes in and along with the other acquisitions we've made in the secondary, along with Marcus Davenport on the line, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to score on us, and it's going to be hard to stop us. Brad Holmes is doing everything right now. On paper, this is a great fucking signing.
Yeah, I agree. I will also say about DJ Reader real quick. He gives the insurance for Aleem McNeil. You can almost rotate them. They're very similar players, even though Reader has more experience. He's been dominating longer. He does have an injury history. And that's what it is. If one of them gets hurt, God forbid, the other one is there to kind of be in a steed instead of kind of those lower grade players like the Benito Joneses, who I think he moved on. And then we drafted Broderick Martin. He was game day scratch. Isaiah Buggs, in and out game day scratch. We don't have to do that as long as DJ Reader stays healthy. If DJ Reader stays healthy, this is a Super Bowl run free agent signing, 2 years, $27 million. If he could play I'm talking about 14, 15 games in the regular season, be there in the playoffs when we need him. I mean, Aleem McNeil has been pretty much as healthy as we can ask of him. It's just going to form a deadly unit in there, in that defensive line. Nobody's going to be able to run on us. Right now, we have the run. We have the best run defense in the NFL. We have the best run defense in the NFL, and this signing also sets Aiden Hutchinson up for guaranteed double-digit sacks, guaranteed 14-plus sacks. I'm calling it right now. Over under show, we're not even there yet. 14-plus for Aiden Hutchinson because the inside of our line, and I also would not put it past Brad Holmes to draft a defensive tackle to add to the mix maybe in the first or second round. Just add somebody to throw in there with McNeil and Reeder, a bigger nose tackle type dude, to just form this deadly trio rotation of just big bodies flinging everywhere. And you got Aiden Hutchinson and Davenport and John Kaminsky and whoever else running off the edge.
Broderick Martin.
That's cool. Yeah, for sure. I really like where it's going. Health is a big thing, but that's big for every team. Injury luck is big. We had great injury luck last year.
And to compare it to our biggest rival in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers, who did they lose? Eric Armstead.
Sure.
It's a huge, impactful defensive line player that they lost. We went out and added another one. Now, the Niners have a lot of compensatory picks. They always do. They have like 76 this year.
Well, they lost one recently. Did you guys
did.
see about that?
What was that again?
They payroll errors. That someone was cooking the books a little bit, I think.
Yeah, they were messing up, and they lost Javon Hargrave and Chase Young. They've lost a lot from that defensive line.
That's true.
Which is only going to add more compensatory picks moving forward, by the way.
True.
That's all that's going to happen. So
the kings of it.
Yeah.
Whatever. They could trade him for Trey Lance's or a future bust.
Amen.
All right, I gotta ask: am I the only one that had either just a friend, a group chat, just saw chat, whatever, but of people that were like, man, after 3 days of free agency, saw the Carlton Davis site, saw the Meek Robinson, we're like, man, Brad Holmes, he's losing it. Guy's losing it. I don't know if I can trust this team anymore. We're not going all in. And then, well, bang, DJ Reeder. Well, bam, Kevin Zeitler. And we're just like, everyone's, oh my God, he's so amazing. So, Nick, I'm throwing it to you. You got any buddies that were just like, you were like, dude, chill out. We do this every year. Brad Holmes he's going to do something. Just relax.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not so much friends group chat. Everyone believes in my friend group. And if they don't, I have fucking yelled at them. They are no longer my friend. You know what I mean? I don't really want to talk to them anymore. So, but Twitter for sure was going wild. And even if we didn't sign Reeder or Zeitler or anyone else, and people would still be saying that all offseason, I'd be like, you guys are just dumb, dude. Full on trust what BH does. And a couple weeks ago, I called him out on being like, okay, well, his trades and his free agents haven't been that great. And just because we get these expensive guys, people, man, a lot of time Madden has ruined offseason for a lot of young kids, in my opinion. They don't understand what an actual offseason in the NFL is like. They just are like, let's just go look at the free agent board, go sign the best players and Madden ratings, and our team will be amazing. I win a Super Bowl every year doing that. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, that just isn't the NFL. So even if we didn't go sign him, I still would just laugh at the Twitter people and social media people that didn't believe in Brad Holmes. But then he does go out and do something like this and totally redeems himself, even though he never really lost himself. But just got to get a good a Dumb and Dumber quote in there. So I just laugh at anyone. And I cannot wait for him to draft a fucking running back in the first round or something this year, and everyone just be like, no, how could you? Or Blake Corum in the third round, like Julius put out a mock after we talked about it a little bit and just got toasted, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Roasted beyond belief. And it was the funniest thing reading all those things. And so now I just really want it to happen. Like, I really want us to draft Blake Corum. Well, we don't have it. Yeah, we got a third round pick still.
It's a late third, though.
It's a late third. So if Blake Corum's there, I hope we draft him. And everyone's just like, Brad Holmes has lost it. He's dumb. What is he doing? And then Blake Corum and David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs all rush for 1,000 yards next year. And we just throw the ball like 6 times and we just run it every single play. And it's fucking awesome. Like, I no longer have patience for someone who doesn't believe in Brad Holmes. Like, it would take him going out and like, I don't know, man, he could go sign Billy Sims to a 1-year contract and we'd be like, yeah, I think he's got something left in his tank for sure. That's actually, my dad told me today, he said, ask this question on your podcast for you. Ask if we should go sign Billy Sims if he's got anything left in his tank.
I mean,
well, instead of asking it, I'll just put it into
if Brad Holmes approves, like you're saying, Nick, he's reached the level of status where you're just like, no matter what this guy does or does not do, it's right. It's just right. And granted, you know, everyone's not perfect, so we will eventually have some sort of miss, some sort of something. But honestly, if it's Chase Lucas, Trinity Benson, so if those are his misses, oh my gosh, then Brad Holmes, do whatever the hell he wants, sign him to a lifetime contract. Yeah, I don't think we did talk about this. We extended Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell through 2027, which I love that. Get them down on the books early. Don't let them think, well, maybe I could, go make an extra $5 million coaching somewhere else. Lock their contract down. Don't let these guys leave. I love what Sheila's been doing. Ever since she took over, Lion stock been skyrocketing.
Yeah, we all know that head coach contracts and GM contracts are freaking fake. They're just fake stuff. Like, man, I've seen teams like sign someone to a 6-year contract and a year later be like, actually, no, we don't need you anymore.
Listen, the owner be throwing in like big vacations in the deals, for the coaches and the GMs. Like, hey, here's 3 weeks in Cabo, by the way, fully inclusive and paid with the private jet after the season included in the contract.
That's exactly right. They're like, here's a year-long gift card to Benihana's. Like, go enjoy. You know what I mean?
Free groceries for life.
Free groceries for life. Only from Kroger, though. Keep it Michigan.
That would be. Could you imagine Kroger teams up with the Lions?
That would be great, dude.
Until you stop coaching, that would be awesome. Kroger, Meyer, Little Caesars. If you're listening, go offer our head coaches, and you will see the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Good marketing right there.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, before we get to our last big signing, we did have one guy get traded, which was hilarious because he got traded for a 6th, which could be a 4th, but it's probably going to be a 6th, and that's Justin Fields. This was funny to laugh at, but ultimately it kind of sucks, boys, because this was the nail in the coffin that the Bears will be drafting Caleb Williams, and I don't know what your guys' stance are, but I think he's going to be really good regardless of the Bears' quarterback history. It's been so bad. They've never had a good quarterback. I think Caleb Williams is going to be the first, like CJ Stroud has just taken over. I think we're going to see similar things. Hopefully it takes them a year or two and the Lions can, be a little bit ahead of them. But Caleb Williams in, Justin Fields out. It was funny to see Justin Fields go for a 6th, but I really wish they would have tried to keep him, tried to make this a quarterback competition, maybe try to even trade the first overall pick. But Caleb Williams is going to be a Bears quarterback. Him and Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields and Kirk Cousins are both out. They've been scared off, kind of like Aaron Donald in his last game against the Lions. All scared off, don't want to play the Lions at all in any capacity. So they're gone. Julius, Caleb Williams, are we still going to be hating on the Bears as much as we did with Justin Fields, or are we going to be a little bit more scared?
No, we're going to be hating even more, Adam, because I'm not the biggest fan of Caleb Williams. Actually, I think I said on this show as well, personal advice to all Bears fans listening, draft J.J. McCarthy, quarterback Michigan, 1st overall, or trade down a couple spots and draft him 3rd or 4th or 5th overall, and you may, just may, by the grace of the Lord, compete with the Lions for the division one day. But if you draft Caleb Williams, you will once again come in 4th place next season and probably the season after that, and then cry tears for 3 straight failed first-round quarterbacks, 3 generations of fans crushed under the weight of rebuilds. Lions fans, we didn't have to do that. We had the one with Stafford, and then we got Jared Goff, who kind of renewed Phoenix-like resurgence to the brand new Lions. I'm glad we haven't had to suffer through a Trubisky and a Fields. I would just be a torn man right now. So Bears fans, I'm telling you, draft J.J. McCarthy. He comes from the gold standard, Harbaugh and company. Other than that, draft Caleb Williams, 4th place next year. I'm not even worried about you. We're going to sweep you.
Nick, you're a Senior Bowl guy, so you got a little extra intel on Penix. Bo Nix, I think, was at the Senior Bowl, but a couple of others high-profile quarterbacks. So do you think that, watching them, Caleb Williams was a step better? Do you think, Caleb was kind of on their level?
I think on the field, Caleb Williams is a very talented quarterback who will win in the NFL. Maybe not win as much as a lot of people are like the Andrew Lucks and the Trevor Lawrences and the Peyton Mannings. And Caleb Williams, it's like, no, I'm not going to go that far, but he is very good on the field. However, I said this about Kyler Murray. Okay, let's think about Kyler Murray. He just never seemed like his mentality was fully into the game. There was, before he got drafted, it was, is he going to do baseball? Is he going to do football? Is he going to do baseball? Is he going to do football? And he never really could come out. And like, I watched an interview with him, and I know I'm talking about Kyler Murray, but he's on the Dan Patrick show, and his dad was with him and wouldn't let him talk about like what sport he was going to play. It was really weird. It was just really weird. And I went out on a limb. I went on a Big 12 podcast actually back in the day, who are all in love with Kyler Murray. And I just was like, no, I don't think he'll ever be a Super Bowl winner, if not even really that successful in the NFL, but he'll win. I kind of get this Caleb Williams vibe from that, whether it was Chicago or like if we were just doing a draft show, like, and it was, I don't know, the Patriots drafting first or the Commanders or the Raiders or whomever, I would be saying the same thing. Like, it has nothing to do with the Bears. But if we're going to bring it into the Bears, I also don't think their head coach and their offensive coordinator are that good. And unfortunately, when you're a quarterback, if you go to a team that has very poor coaching and offensive coaching, and just head coaching, then you are going to be under a lot of pressure and not have the right people in place to kind of get you where you want to be. They've done a lot to add to their roster in getting Keenan Allen, getting DeAndre Swift, who, I don't know, DeAndre Swift, I guess that's adding something just because he ran behind Philadelphia's offensive line. It's going to be a lot different when he's behind Chicago's offensive line. It's going to be a lot different. So I would be more scared if they were like to get Saquon Barkley and Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen is 49 years old and has been injured 48 of those years. So I'm just like, I'm not that worried about him. I'm not that worried about Swift. They added like Gerald Everett. Like, they just went and got every Chargers offensive guy they could. Well, the thing that sucks is that the Chargers suck. So Bears, what are you doing here? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. So I don't know how to say this, but I almost feel like Justin Fields was more of a threat to the Lions than Caleb Williams will be. And that's due to his legs. Caleb Williams has a good arm, way better arm than Justin Fields. We know that. Justin Fields threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my entire life to Aiden Hutchinson. It was the worst throw I've ever seen anyone ever make, and Aiden just grabbed a pick. It was great. Caleb's way better than that, and he can run, but he's not Justin Fields. Like, Justin Fields was maybe the fastest running back I've ever seen play in the NFL outside of like Michael Vick. We can sit and compare, and you could say Kyler Murray, or you could say some other like very fast running or quarterback. Sorry, but Fields was really fast. Like, he was really good. He was a huge threat. We almost lost the first game to him, and we did lose the second game to him last year. So I'm happy that Fields is out. But I'm sorry that it's so long-winded. On 97-1 that day, there were Lions fans calling in, like crying, like belligerently crying, because they were like, why wouldn't we offer a 5th rounder to go get him? I can't believe they offered a 6 or only traded a 6 for a 6th round. It's like, guys, Ryan Poles would not have traded him to Detroit. First off, for a 5th or 6th round, he would have asked more. There were teams asking for more, or giving more to the Bears to get Fields than what Pittsburgh did. But he did right by Fields, and he got him out to a team he wanted to go to. He also got him out of the NFC in case Fields does become, somehow he learns how to throw a ball and becomes really good. We want to see him in the NFC. There's no reason why freaking Brad Holmes would trade for Justin Fields. Like, that's the most.
Bro. There's a 3% contingent of Detroit Lions fans that are Ohio State fans.
That
are probably Justin Field fans and have this belligerent dream of Justin Fields coming in for the probably who they don't like, Jared Goff, and just taking over. No.
That's so true. I didn't even think about that. You're so right, dude. Yep.
There are a nice chunk of Ohio State Lion fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Fields. I kind of agree with you, Nick. I do think Caleb Williams I don't think he's fast. I think he's like slimy. I think he's like very like Patrick Mahomes-ish, where he just gets out of things and he creates tough throws.
Is that your player count for him?
Stop. I hope.
Is that your player comp for him? And Nick, what is that your player comp for him? Pat Mahomes?
Not
He's
mine.
a Kroger brand Pat Mahomes. So
Because the Bears fans are thinking and hoping that's who he is. That's who they missed out on, and that's who they hope he is.
long term, if he does stay with the Bears, and maybe not, but I don't know. Or regardless, just long term, I do think he will be like a Kroger brand Mahomes-ish, where he's not as Mahomes. Obviously, he's on a whole new level, but he's got some talent. And I think in the sense of the first couple of years, though, Justin Fields fit this. He had chemistry with everyone. Caleb Williams is walking in, new man in town. Everyone's do we want to play with this guy? Is he even going to be good? Because now he's going to have extra pressure on him, and that could create some locker room chemistry issues. And I do think Justin Fields would have been tougher these next 2 years than Caleb Williams. But long run, I'm kind of bummed to see Fields gone.
Our family brand is getting shit on by Adam today, dude. I tell you, man, I find some good deals with our family.
I love Kroger.
Hey, man, it was no knock because there's like a lower than Kroger brand. It's just, the knockoffs, but you got your Coca-Cola, which is Pat Mahomes. And then you got your Kroger brand, which, sometimes you do get the big K, bottle of pop, but so it's usually you're getting the Coca-Cola or the Pepsi.
I think it's something to be said that we have to, in the NFL, you can't just look at players. You can't do it. Pat Mahomes isn't Pat Mahomes without Andy Reid. In fact, he probably isn't Pat Mahomes without Andy Reid and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to start. Yeah, Adam, I'll and gladly tell me if you think I'm wrong, but if Pat Mahomes would have went to Chicago with Matt Nagy or whoever was coaching them when Trubisky got there, and they had who the hell were the Bears wide receivers?
Brandon Marshall. No. That was Jay Cutler.
Jeffrey,
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Cameron Meredith.
That's not Travis Kelce. You can't just look at players. You cannot just look at players. And we get so infatuated with just the player. And it's something I bring up this quite a lot, and this is getting kind of old. I'll have to find a new reference here. Matt Ryan won MVP and was the number 1 or number 2 fantasy draft pick the following year for quarterbacks, was ranked number because he was so good. But you know what happened? They lost Kyle Shanahan that year. And Matt Ryan never threw for more than 3,100 yards in his career after. You can't just look at players. And he had Julio Jones and Roddy White and Tevin Coleman and the other really good running back, Devonta Freeman. So, you can't just get infatuated with these players, and that's it. Jared Goff on the Carolina Panthers last year isn't taking them to the NFC Championship. Okay. It's about your coaches and it's about who surrounds you. I don't think the Bears coaches are good enough to make Caleb Williams good. We saw Trevor Lawrence's rookie year go 1-15 because they had Urban Meyer. They brought in a better coach in his second year and he did well. And his third year, he didn't do that well. And he was injured and stuff like that happens. But maybe Doug Peterson's not the best coach for them. There's so much more to the NFL and to football than just plop player A into spot A and amazingness happens. It just doesn't work out like that. It doesn't work out like that. So Caleb Williams could be really good, but if Chicago doesn't have the best coaching around him, then I don't know how successful he really will be. CJ Stroud is one of the best offensive coordinators. I would say the second best offense coordinator in the NFL outside of Ben Johnson.
CJ Stroud. We're talking about
right, but I'm just saying CJ Stroud had a very successful rookie year not because CJ Stroud is light years better than Bryce Young. His offensive coordinator.
So we're gonna see that now because I can't draw a blank on his name, but he went to the Tampa Bay Bucks, got him for their head coach. Yes, Ben Skowronek.
Are you sure about that? You're 100% positive on that?
Pretty sure.
Because I thought he went back to Houston, but I guess I could be wrong. Are you looking it up right now, Adam?
Yeah.
Pause the show, everyone. Type in the comments if I'm right or wrong.
The Bears, they have a Cowboys or New York Giants type pressure on them to win because they've been to the promised land before. Unlike the Lions, they've won a Super Bowl. They've damn near went undefeated, had one of the best defenses of all time, 1985. I'm sure they'll never forget. Thought they almost got there again in the early 2000s with Cutler and company. That didn't happen.
Rexy. Mm-hmm.
They have a pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. They're going to have this the city of big shoulders, Chicago.
Big media market. Mm-hmm.
The fans, they want to win bad. They want to feel it again. Some of them never have. So,
and that's tough. Look at Zach Wilson and the Jets. It's the same, one of the same things. It's a ton of pressure to come in and be extremely successful, extremely quickly. And
it's going to take one player, just like Pat Mahomes with the Chiefs. It's going to take Caleb Williams is going to have to be generational.
They need the best
change to win the Bears a Super Bowl. He's going to have to be generational.
They need the best offensive coordinator. And who is their coach right now? Matt Eberflus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hot seat.
The worst head coach in the NFL, I would say, right now. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Nick, you were right.
I thought so.
The Texans do still have Bobby Slowick.
That was his name.
Yeah, we were off. Ben Skowronek, I think, was a wide receiver. Maybe I don't know. Very similar names, though. Very odd S last names and B first names. But yes, he was the guy that was staying in Houston, which led to Dave Canales, the coach, the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, which I thought got a new head coach, went to the Panthers. So the OC for the Bucs, who did well with Baker, is now the head coach of the Panthers.
Yes,
which is not Ben Johnson, which was also a big domino to fall. So that was very
also
cool.
To our point. Let's see how Baker and Mike Evans does this year in offense. If they take a huge step back, that just proves my point even more, that your coordinators are so much more. That's why we were so scared about Ben Johnson leaving, because we know that coordinators are huge, not just your head coach, but coordinators as well. It's a long conversation about the Bears and Caleb Williams. I fucking hate the Bears. They're fucking trash, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I was getting ready to move. We'll just move on to our next big guy. Our last biggest signing, not physically, but Big Z. That's what I'm nicknaming him. If it isn't his nickname yet, Kevin Zeitler. That was just a big old hammer signing I don't know where you were, Nick, but I got the Adam Schefter notification at my mom's house. I was like, yeah, baby. And my mom, literally, this was a great mom of mine. She's like, oh, this was Lions. Some sort of Lions did something. The Lions signed someone. And I was like, yes, Lions signed someone. And she just knows by my reactions of, it means more when the Lions do something. So mother knows her son. But anyways, we bring in Kevin Zeitler, 1 year, $6 million deal. And the $6 million is important because we just restructured with Carlton Davis for a $4.5 million cap saving. So essentially we, got Carlton Davis and Kevin Zeitler for a third rounder and $1.5 million, which I think is a steal. So Julius, you called this I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 13 days on the dot. I don't know. But you called the Kevin Zeitler signing. It was out of the blue too. I was not expecting you to name him, but honestly, what made you think of Zeitler, and how stoked are you that the Lions were listening to you?
Well, what initially made me think of Zeitler was the fact that we could. I think I mentioned that we could possibly lose both our starting guards. Glasgow and Jonah Jackson were both unrestricted free agents. We weren't sure we were going to bring back neither. Jonah got signed first. That made me pretty scared. I think that's when we had our show. No. We had it before Jonah signed.
Before, yeah.
Yeah. I just figured that, we need a starting guard. And we can't. We were talking about rookies. We have the best offensive line in the NFL. We need to maintain that. And doing this and retaining Glasgow maintains that. We have 5 players there in the top 25 of their position in the NFL. We have 4 players on the offensive line that have been rated in the top 10 of their position in the NFL, including 3 that's been in the top 3. We have the best offensive line in the NFL. Health is a huge factor. Kevin Zeitler is an Iron Man. He's played at least 15 games in 7 straight seasons. He's an Iron Man. He's rock solid, and he'll just continue our dominance. And so, I saw his name. I knew that it wouldn't take much money. It wouldn't take many years on a contract. Our window is open. We're going to talk about this stupid Michael Greenberg comment talking about that we missed our window last year. Oh, that was our window. Here comes Green Bay, blah, blah, blah. No, here comes the Lions again with the best offensive line in the league that's going to blow Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago straight in the mouth, and anybody else who plays them. We're going to run the ball down your throat, and it's going to continue next season. This signing validates that.
Julius just said you're going to blow him straight in the mouth. So I think Zeitler, it really, it's a great signing. It's a great signing. It's great. I don't know. I won't be surprised if Brad Holmes still goes and gets a guy like Zach Frazier, who can play center and guard in the first or second round.
We need that.
God knows how long Zeitler and Ragnow will be playing in the NFL, let alone
toss him on there.
I saw a tweet that said that Zeitler could be this year's CD Deuce.
Yeah, that's what we're getting.
The 1 year,
getting
the one, yeah.
Right, exactly. Go prove.
He's coming off his best season too. He might be old, but he was producing at a high rate last year. And there's a couple tweets we posted about him from PFF Ravens too. He grades decently. He was always in the top 5, highest graded players for the Ravens. And yeah, it offensive line is really weird. You're going to see like 70s and stuff and think, oh, a 75, that's terrible. It's not that bad for offensive linemen. They typically don't get, 95, 97 unless you're like a Penei Sewell. So Zeitler, I think he adds just veteran presence to the group. I think he's going to help out, with not just a young Penei, but keep, an old Glasgow going, keep Decker going, keep Ragnow going, and kind of just, keep the boys moving. And Nick, you kind of alluded to this. This signing, could mean something for the draft. So is this kind of, he is a very good pass blocker, better than he is a run blocker. So is this, maybe us alluding to something?
I don't know. You never know with BH. You just never know. So I won't be surprised if we do draft an inside offensive line early, and I won't be surprised if we don't. So one thing I do know it's going to do for the draft of next year is it's going to take away our compensatory pick for losing Jonah Jackson. That's for dang sure. We are not getting a compensatory pick. We still might get one for CD Deuce, but we also went out and got Amik Robinson and Carlton Davis. I'm not sure if we'll get one for that either.
How does that even work?
If you lose someone that's worthwhile and get someone back that's not worthwhile, or you just don't get someone back, that's how you get your compensatory.
Yes, then I will say, devil's advocate, it has a little injury insurance on Zeitler. So if he were to just, have his 1 year where he tears his ACL week 1, 2, knock on wood. Right. But then, we get something back for it, and it wouldn't just be, dust in the wind.
Right, 100%. But I do love the idea of Ragnow, Zeitler. Is it Zeitler or Zeitler? Because I've been saying Zeitler this whole time.
It's Zeitler. It's Zeitler because I got kind of roasted in the comments for the way I pronounced his name, Zeitler.
Yes. Okay.
Like, oh, this guy's for the east side. Zeitler.
Right.
Yeah, but
Zeitler.
It's Zeitler.
Yeah. Can we just call him Zeitgeist? All right. So him, Ragnow, Zeitler, and Penei Sewell on our right side, which I do think Zeitler plays right guard, and we're going to move Glasgow to left guard, even though both of them have not had a ton of history and or success at the left guard position. We'll see how that goes. But just Ragnow, Zeitler, and Sewell on our right side is fucking dominant. Like, it's so dominant. I don't care. Like, Zeitler's better pass blocker than run blocker. We run into the right every play, dude. Every play we run into the right, dude. It's gonna be nuts. So I'm excited. Like, what a good signing. What a good offensive line. Like, it's just awesome. I'm totally down with it. I love it. 1 year prove it deal. BH's motto. His
it really is. I guess. To recap, to close us out, what are your guys' grades right now? The big consensus was B+, A- range. And I do think that this Zeitler signing brought us into the B+, maybe A- range, depending on what your thoughts are of all these guys. If all these guys stay healthy, if they all play 16 games, it's an A-. But we brought in 2 guys that have injury history in Carlton Davis, DJ Reader, and I guess a veteran, despite he has been an Ironman, but he's still, older guy. So you never know. But I do think this was a B+ free agency, not draft, off season, whatever you want to call it. And if you were to look at, it's funny, if you were to look at this timetable backwards, a lot of people would have thought, oh man, the Lions are killing the off season from start, instead of like, oh, we, re-signed, Donovan Peoples-Jones, we brought back Dorsey, we brought back Zylstra, and we're not doing much, and we let go Chauncey Garner. But now we have DJ Reader, Carlton Davis, Zeitler. God, I keep saying Zeitler. But Nick, I'm gonna shoot it to you. Give me a grade. I think you gave us a number out of 10, so we'll do grading this time. So give us a good old-fashioned school grade on the Detroit Lions offseason. And do you think we're done yet?
No, I don't think we're done. Do I think we're done getting like the big names? Yeah, I do think so, but I bet there's like a Josh Reynolds signing or something like that. We'll still get a couple other guys. I don't think we're fully done yet. 10 out of 10, A+, A full plus. What else would any fan want us to do? Trade our first round pick for L'Jarius Sneed? You're an idiot if you think that. You're a fucking idiot. And if either of you guys think it, no, I love you, but I think you're an idiot, because I'm not trading my first round pick for L'Jarius Sneed. It's just not happening. Who else did you want us to go sign? Chase Young? No. Eric Armstead? No. Like, who is the best edge rusher in free agency?
Danielle Hunter.
Sure. Okay. And what? I don't know. I don't really have a lot of faith in him coming.
2 years, $50 million. It was, yeah. He's 31 years old.
Yeah, exactly. What did you expect us to do? Go get it's a B+. It's a B+ because we didn't get Odell Beckham Jr. No, dude, like, you're just dumb. You don't think that everything Brad Holmes has done this year has better set us up for success in this coming season than what he did last year. Honestly, like, he has done nothing but improve every offseason. His draft is going to be just as good. Quarterback help. I hope we got
a Justin Fields. We got an Ohio State Buckeye.
No, we're not trading for no Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, exactly. Any of those. Mac Jones.
I'll get a third for Justin Fields.
Oh my god! I didn't even know that was you talking, Julius. That was a great.
OHI.
Julius.
So 10 out of 10, A+ for me.
A+ for Nick. Where are we at?
I mean, it's hard for me to, honestly disagree with Nick with the A+. I'm gonna give him an A just because I can't just do a letter grade before the draft. Like, I need the draft and free agency before rookie camp, before the summer dog days and training camp. I need free agency period, which we have. Which, honestly, I give an A+. We signed like 3.5 starters to an already already Super Bowl team that beat the Super Bowl winner. Bro, I can't ask for much more. A+. But I need the draft, man. I need a Brad Holmes special.
I agree.
No love
Nick, I knew you were gonna do it, Nick. I knew you were gonna do it.
No love for Hooker season, bro. What are we doing? The same conversation we had last year, and y'all were like, "No,
we shouldn't even put that comment up."
Man, you guys.
While we're on this topic,
for Teddy Bridgewater the entire time. We get Teddy Bridgewater, and what the hell did he do? Like, nothing. Like, we don't need a backup quarterback.
I will say, what if Goff has a finger sprain where it's like a 2 or 3 week injury? Hooker comes in and plays CJ Stroud-esque. What do we do?
And everything I predicted is true.
Bro, Hooker 42 years old, bro.
He is.
I don't know.
He can come in right now and take over the whole family.
I don't know. I'm eager to see him play, but I'm not eager to see him play because if he plays, then it's under bad circumstances.
I can't wait to see him play.
Preseason is going to be all. Yeah,
quarterback of the future. Quarterback of the future.
And I will say, hey, preseason, get your bank rolls ready because the Lions are going to go with 3-0, baby, in that preseason. So,
I don't like that. Give me one loss in preseason. I never want to go.
I take 0-3 in the preseason. I don't care.
I don't ever want us to go undefeated in preseason
right,
again.
2-1, fine, 2-1, Nick. Okay. But I'm saying 3-0 because Hooker gets us so far ahead. But nonetheless,
soon it'll be 1-1. Did you see they're going to get rid of that third preseason game and add in an 18th football game?
Oh, I hope so. More football for me. Love to see it. But as always, you guys can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _. Like, subscribe, whatever you're listening, watching on. Comments are always appreciated. And boys, as always, go.
Lions!